Hey everyone, Condor K. A little advance, I just want to apologize for my previous two vlogs. I guess ultimately there's no reason to actually watch them since it's just like an avatar, every once in a while I show some images of the actual nights or things that I'm talking about. But it's been out of sync for the last two vlogs. The avatar bits, I think, get longer while everything else that I put in seems to be shorter than what it is in the bar. What's weird is I published it as one thing, format, camera, which one. I watched it, and it was all in sync. I uploaded it to YouTube, and then it was all out of sync. So I'm not completely sure where the problem is. I'll try to figure out. More importantly, I want to spend this vlog talking about the history of the Alpha Knights, how they came about, and who are they exactly. Because all the main characters are Alpha Knights. And I'll talk about the main five next time, for serious. But I kind of realized this is more important. So, as I've said before, the planet Zen is divided into several continents, and the continents have several countries. The biggest country is Rain, and as such, it's always held power in Zen's history. And even back when the countries were first being formed, like the groups being brought together a lot like Earth, these like-minded people joined together and forming cities and so on and so forth, civilizations. Rain had grown much bigger because of its military force. And during these ancient wars, the king of Rain saw fit that they needed something to show that they had the absolute best warriors on the entire planet. So he saw fit to elevate 26 of his best warriors and to a new rank he called Alpha Knight. And the order of the Alpha Knights, the 26 of them, would be his personal guard and his ultimate army to go out and fight against all the other countries and all the other wars that were going on for territory and resources and so on back in the day, where everybody wanted to be the best, but Rain had a clear advantage with these Alpha Knights. As time went on, wars decided to settle. Some countries disappeared, others fused for protection, and the Alpha Knights had this reputation throughout the world as being immensely powerful and unbeatable. And as the kingship passed from one Rain King to the other, so did some Alpha Knights, either being that they wanted to stop serving or that they died in battle. Because while most of the populace believes this myth that they're invincible, they really aren't. They're just really good warriors, and when they die they're replaced by another, which is how they have the passing of the letter. The Alpha Knights protected only Rain, and they were from only Rain. It wasn't until the Rain had their 34th king, who goes by King Aradile of Taurus. While he was king of Rain, the Nerosians invaded. The Nerosians are the black shadow aliens that come from a wall called Neros. The Neros floats in space above the planet. It's this strange kind of black orbiting wall it's there in space. No one knows quite where it came from or how long it was there, so no one's completely sure when it first showed up, but it was during the 34th king's reign that the Nerosians began invading all of Zen. And since it's been a kind of fragile peace, with most of the nations deciding to stop fighting for a while or to kind of fix things in their own turf, they realize that their own respective militaries cannot take on the Nerosians. They're killing everyone. So they ask for help from Rain's Alpha Knights. And this begins how Rain essentially becomes the leading and influential power in Zen, when everyone else turned to them for help. And the Alpha Knights were dispatched, and they've proven that they were capable of killing the Nerosians. Although, even for the Alpha Knights, it was not an easy thing. More of them were killed fighting the first war against the Nerosians than all of the years during the previous 33 kings' reigns. So following this, the king decided that since all the world needed Rain, it would be Rain's job to police the world, and he decided that the Alpha Knights could no longer come from only Rain. There might be warriors in the rest of the world who are more powerful. There might be some people who are better and more suited for it, so he decided to expand the Alpha Knights into an order decided from the best warriors of the world of Zen, as opposed to the best warriors of Rain. And following this process, 5 kingships later, during the 39th king's reign, King Taras of Mia, he had been secretly working, even before he became king, with several very bright and very intelligent geniuses from all corners of Zen to develop something to give the Alpha Knights a leg up on the Nerosians. By this time, the Nerosians had shown that they can attack anywhere on Zen that they want, for whatever reason, and dispatching the Alpha Knights from Rain was beginning to become an issue. Because if someone was being attacked in a continent away, they would have to wait, suffer, and their militaries would have to be decimated before the Alpha Knights could get there. So King Taras, in addition to doing his secret project, put into effect that the Alpha Knights are allowed to police the entire world in the way that they don't have to worry about borders or anything. He set them up as pairs, and he sent them out to go around the world so that in almost any situation, at least 2 Alpha Knights would be close to a Nerosian attack. And it works, but throughout the previous king's reigns, they noticed that some Nerosians are different from others. Most Nerosians are shadow beings, pure black, and for some reason some of them have these strange metallic robot-like armor. And it wasn't until near the end of the 38th king's reign that someone actually saw an Nerosian change. And this became what they gave a rank to these Nerosians and called them generals. They're the ones who can change from this flimsy kind of mystical shadow form to a powerful and destructive robotic metallic form. And so that's what gave Mia the idea of bringing together geniuses to come up with a counter to that. And when he became king, he put it into effect, starting with the project of the Alpha Armor, which grants each knight armor based on an animal and increases all their powers beyond anything seen before. And the Alpha Knights use this armor by taking their weapon, which is embedded with a code from the king and his men, and all they need to do is carve out their letter in midair with their weapon, and it'll summon the armor from beyond the realm, where they put it so it's safe and it can't be taken, it can't be stolen, it can't be destroyed by anyone, because it's in essentially, like, I guess a pocket dimension would be a way to say it. And so they do it, they carve out an A, a B, whatever their letter is, and it opens this small dimension, the armor comes out and it fuses to the Alpha Knight and makes them immensely more powerful and capable of taking on these Nerosian generals even more effectively than before. So that's how the Alpha Knights are formed, and that's how they receive their Alpha Armor, which is... I actually had not redesigned all the 26 sets of Alpha Armor, but I do have them. A good example would be Argon, the current Alpha Knight A. His Alpha Armor is called the Beta Horn, and it gives him this the form of a rhino. It's themed after a rhinoceros. But everyone has a designation. Most of them are animals. Some of them, like Ricard, he's the Iota Helm. His armored form literally looks like that of sort of a medieval knight. So the Alpha Knights and now police the world in groups of 2 with these Alpha Armors in case they come face to face with Nerosians they can't take out normally. So they can summon them at any point in the battle they think they need to, and they can put them away later. And one last thing, which is not complete, well, it is related to the Alpha Knights. King Taras of Mia, in addition to putting together the Alpha Knights, their new format, and the Alpha Armors, also laid the base of the groundwork for Zenith. Zenith is this massive autonomous state within Rain that manages the Alpha Knights. The Alpha Knights are in constant contact with Zenith. It has these kinds of telepaths live in Zenith, and they're in rotation, so they're able to communicate with each of the squads of Alpha Knights and give them orders based on what they hear from telepaths all around the world. Which is, if there's an Nerosian attack, they'll relay it to Zenith, and Zenith will relay it to the specific Alpha Knight pair that's the closest. And if it gets serious, they're able to further the orders to the other Alpha Knights for reinforcements if they need it. And so that was something else that Terrace had contributed to Reign. And by the 44th King, Zenith is pretty much its own thing. Although, as expected, Zenith presents its own problems, which the story will delve into. I hope that gives more light as to who the Alpha Knights are, where they came from, and what they do now. And I'll spend the next vlog specifically talking about the 5 main Alpha Knights. Like I said I was going to do last time. But for real, I will spend the next vlog talking more detail about Cruz, Janie, Ricard, Orion, and Maya. So until next time.